How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to Meet the Bird Gang. I'm your host, Jacob Kronberg. Today, we're joined by a 2020 should-have been, would-have-been Orleans Firebird. It's UCLA catcher Noah Cardenas. Noah, thanks for taking the time.
No, absolutely.
So you're a guy who, unlike many, is going to spend multiple summers on the Cape. Last year, you were with the YD Red Sox, and this year you were going to join the Orleans Firebirds. Talk a little bit about your time with the Red Sox last year.
Yeah, I think my time with YD that was super fun. It was an intro into one of the best summers of my life because hearing about the Cape ever since I was little, I've been dreaming about going to the Cape. So YD was nothing short of everything I've dreamed of and more. I had a really good time in YD. I had a great host family, the small family. They were awesome, but it was really cool. And I think I had a lot of matchups against the Firebirds, and I remember that time, and I remember going to their park, and they had a really big fan base.
You were able to put one out that 434 in dead center, or?
Yeah, no, during BP a couple times, which isn't documented. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, that was not fun as a hitter to see, but as a catcher, I like that for my pitchers. So that would have been fun to get a lot of long outs in that park.
Well, hitting was definitely a strong suit of yours your freshman year at UCLA. You finished fourth in the Pac-12, hitting over 350. What's going through your mind as a first-year college player when you're seeing pitching that well?
I think not much. Like you're just at UCLA. It's a big team family kind of thing. So I just felt like I was happy to help my team at that point. It was really fun to contribute as a freshman because, a lot of kids aren't able to, not because of their talent or whatever it may be, but just because of the situation and their position, and might have an older guy at that position. So honestly, I was just happy to be able to play for that team because there was a lot of talent on that team. I think we were tied with Vanderbilt for the most amount of draft picks. So honestly, I think it was really fun to be able to play on that team and get to experience as much winning as I did. And I learned a lot along the way. Honestly, I learned a ton from the older guys about the college game. And I just learned the new speed that I was going to have to play at from high school to college. And I got to play with some of the best on my team. And it was really fun. It was a really good time.
So now you're in your sophomore spring. This past spring was abruptly cut off. What's going through your mind when you and your teammates hear the news that there's not going to be an end to this 2020 season?
Well, there really, when you think about it, there really wasn't, when I'm thinking about it, there wasn't really a time where me and my teammates and I could kind of grasp what was happening because it happened so quick. I just remember Coach Savage, our head coach, bringing us in, and that was the day before we were told there weren't allowed to have fans in the stands, which I personally thought like, oh, that's going to be kind of different and kind of cool to have no fans in the stands. So I was like, okay, well, I guess we'll take that with what it was. And then I saw everything that happened in the NBA, and I was like, okay, this is about to get real for everybody. But obviously my teammates and I never thought, we were laughing about it at that point because we thought, okay, it's not as big as a situation. It's not going to become a pandemic. So we come in the next day and our coach is like, hey, our season's postponed. And so obviously it got really real for all of us and talking to the team. So then we're like, okay. And I kid you not, we had a meeting, I think at like 4:30, and we broke the meeting. A couple buddies of mine and me went to the cages to go hit because, it's just a postponement. It could have been 2 weeks, could have been a week, just a week off, just to let everything settle down. And we're in the cages, and 5 minutes into hitting, and we're told that the College World Series is canceled, because that was the first news that came out. The cancellation of the season didn't come out before the College World Series was
well, that's because that's decided by the NCAA, while your regular play is decided by the conference.
Yeah, so it was canceled, and we're just like, what does that mean? Like, we don't have anything to play for at this point. We're playing to win a national championship. So what would playing do for anybody at this point? Obviously we still would love to play, but why would they take the national championship without terminating the whole season in its whole? So it was quick, and then coach didn't really have time from after that. Season got canceled. Everybody went home. Nobody was living in the dorms. So just talking from people about a week later, it was sad, man. We really loved where we were at because we were in a really good spot. We've been playing really good, and we were just about to open Pac-12 play. So we all were really sad and still are, honestly, still mourning, but we're still hoping for fall to continue and for baseball to come back and everybody to be safe and for this to end hopefully soon.
So you said you went back home, so you're not on campus anymore. What have you been doing with all this, I guess, newly found free time? What are the non-baseball interests that you've been taking part in?
Yeah, so at school you don't really have a lot of off time, so it's been weird. It's definitely been sad because you miss being around your roommates, you miss being around your team. You just miss having things to do, honestly. So I've come up with a lot more video games. I've done some things around the house, like my brother and I put up a batting cage in our backyard, so that's been super fun. And then when I came home from school, I didn't know that my oldest brother, he's a strength coach. He had gotten weights from his college. He was working with Cal State Northridge, and he gotten weights and a bench and the whole thing. So when I came back home, we already had a place to lift. So that was super nice when everything came down, where there was no gyms, nothing. Yeah. So I had a strength coach in my backyard, and then I had my brother who's in pro ball, and we were hitting together. So I had the perfect setup to kind of keep in shape to get ready for Orleans. So I was looking forward to it because I was going to be ready to go. And so that's kind of been what I've been doing is wake up. Me and my brother and I lift at 9:30, and then my oldest brother runs them. And then right after we lift, we go hit. And then right after that, it's kind of free time. Just go play video games, hang out with my brothers. A lot of time that I wouldn't usually be able to have during this time with my brother. He'd be gone for like 6 months. So it's been nice, but I think both of us would rather trade it for a baseball season. So, yeah.
Where's your brother playing?
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Where does your brother play? Oh,
he's in the Tampa Bay Rays organization. So I think he was hoping to start in Double-A or High A, depending on how his spring went. But, yeah, he's with the Tampa Bay Rays.
What kind of a role model or mentor has he played in your baseball life?
Yeah, he's been a huge part for sure. Starting from the college recruiting process, he's been helping me this whole time, and it's been super fun. And he's shown me the ropes because he's been to Omaha. He's been doing stuff like that. So going to his games ever since I was in high school has been super fun. Just learning how college baseball is played and kind of realizing from sitting in the stands, I can play at this level. I can do this. So it was kind of motivating for me to be able to go to his big games at Fullerton and see him play under the lights with a bunch of people watching. It's been fun for me, and it's been motivating for me to try to strive to play in those kind of big games.
And you mentioned a lot of video games. What video games are you playing?
Big Fortnite guy. That would just be it. And then MLB The Show, I played Road to the Show. I haven't gotten into Dynasty, but I heard Dynasty's pretty good. So just honestly, Road to the Show, and then NBA, same thing. I do my career. Yeah. I love like being my own person and building, especially because they have in NBA they have the college, so I think that's super fun. And then Road to the Show too. Like I like starting in the minor leagues and having to like work your way up. I think that's super fun.
Well, now as a baseball player, you're playing at a high level at UCLA. You're going to be on the Cape. Do you make yourself – are you a catcher in Road to the Show, or do you put yourself somewhere else in the field?
Yeah, no. Most of the time I'm not a catcher. I do enough catching on my own, so it's kind of fun to be a different position. So I'll be a pitcher sometimes. When I get frustrated with my hitter in the show, because when you first start, he's awful. So I'll go and be a pitcher and try to. And then when I get frustrated with pitching, I'll go back to my hitting guy. And then if I think my guy is completely off track, I'll just start a new one. So
Sounds
kind
about
of like
right.
a circle. Yeah, exactly. It's just kind of a circle, just whatever I'm feeling that day.
All right, so you're a big video game guy. A lot of guys talked about playing the show a little more. Adam Seminara said he's a big show guy.
Yeah.
Seems like everyone's just kind of dove into video games at this free time.
Yeah, no, for sure. I definitely, from being at school, I didn't play as much video games because you just don't have as much time. But now I'm a big video game guy. I'm logging too many hours, but I'm still getting my work in. So at that point, it doesn't matter. There's nothing better to be doing.
So let's go back to your time on Cape Cod last year.
Yeah.
And I want to know, what was your best memory with what was your first summer on the Cape?
My best memory. My best memory on the Cape. It's a good question. I'm trying to think about bringing it back to the Cape. My best memory. It would probably just be playing Orleans actually at their park at night. Playoff game. It was a game 3. And in the first series, and I thought it was super fun because it ended up being under the lights. I remember Eric Tolman pitched for us for YD, and it was a really, really good game. But it was really packed. So I remember that was a really good experience for all of us. And I just thought it was super fun to be playing against Orleans under the lights in a big time game like that. So it was fun. It was a good environment.
What were some of the things you and your YD teammates would do maybe after a game or when you didn't have games over the summer?
I remember a couple of us, a big thing is mini golfing.
Yeah.
We would go mini golfing a lot. So that was a ton of fun, and go to the beach a couple times. But I remember when I showed up on the Cape, a lot of the rainouts had matched up, so it had taken a lot of the off days from the time I'd gotten there, which was like middle of June. So by the time I got in there, it was kind of no days off. And but the funny thing about the Cape is it's kind of I think that's one of the cool things is when the sun goes down, some parks baseball's done. So it allowed us to have a lot of time after the games to go mini golfing or like go to the beach, go watch, so I think it was a lot of fun for that part of it. But it also was nice to have some parks who could have lights and you could play under the lights.
So I'm assuming you were staying in the Yarmouth Dennis area?
Yeah.
So
I was about 10 minutes away from the park.
Did you get to play Pirates Cove then? That's the go-to course up there.
Yes. I got to play Pirates Cove. That place was super fun. Yeah. There's nothing like that out here. I live in Santa Clarita. There's nothing even close. So that was those, I don't know how many holes it was, but that took way longer because I was just admiring how nice the place was because, they put a lot of effort into that. So that was kind of cool to be a part of.
There's like a science behind when you have to go to Pirates Cove so you're not waiting at every hole.
Yes.
It's always packed.
Oh, yeah. It was packed even when I went. So we did holes like you couldn't even do them like 3 or 4 times because there'd be someone behind you too. So it was still fun though because when you're going to Pirates Cove, it's not like you're going to a normal mini golf place. Like it's legit. So it was fun.
Who won when you guys were out there between you and your teammates? I know everything's a competition.
Oh yeah, no, every time. I know I came in last. I don't remember who won. I think it was Sam Hall, Wyatt Young. I think we all went mini golfing. I don't remember who won though, but I remember I didn't win. That was
The golf stroke's not as good as the baseball swing?
No. The golf, the putt game is definitely not there. I'm streaky. Like I'll have 3 really good holes and then all of a sudden I'll just lose it and I don't know where it goes, and I can't find it, and I'm just like, I can't get back to my good rounds.
Well, this summer you were supposed to have some familiarity on the Orleans team with you. You're going to come up with, I guess, one of your battery mates, Jake Somm from UCLA.
Yeah.
What's your relationship like with Jake at school?
Jake's been awesome. So Jake's a pitcher at UCLA, like you said. He's a left-handed pitcher. So it's been spending a lot of time with Jake because he's learning the same thing I did last year, the year before. UCLA's pitching system's very detailed, and there's a lot of things to learn as a freshman. So a lot of time with Jake, trying to help him understand and improve his learning of the system and hopefully make it quicker for him to understand so he could help impact the 2020 Bruins. So a lot of time with Jake on and off the field because he's a freshman in the dorms with me. So I think it would have been really fun to be on the Cape with Jake. We've been talking about it when we found out that we were both going together. We were really excited. I was pumping him up to him. I was telling him how fun the Cape is and Eldridge Park at night and telling him how fun that would be. But sadly it can't happen, but he'll still be able to experience it, and I'm excited for him.
So do you have any good Jake Somm stories?
Oh, I do have I'm not even saying this because I genuinely don't have if you were to ask me that about any other person, I don't know if I'd have one, but Jake Somm has one of my favorite UCLA baseball memories. This was early in fall, and I remember it's usually a time when freshmen are trying to show their teammates like what kind of abilities they have. And obviously as older kids in the program, that they're recruiting the best of the best. So you're just trying to settle them in, like knowing that they're talented. They don't need to prove anything to us. We know they belong there. So, but your initial instinct is to show everybody what you're doing. So there's a catcher named Darius Perry, went to La Mirada, and he's a freshman too. And we're doing first and third defenses, and he pops up and his first and third and almost hits our one of our base runners at third base. And this was like his first throw, and he threw it as hard as he could, and it would have killed the kid, like if it hit him, because he chucked this ball. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if he knows where it's going today, but his arm looks amazing. So Jake Somm, our catcher Darius Perry went down to throw to second, and Jake was going to cut it off, and Darius threw it so hard and it hit straight off his knee, because he threw it that hard where Jake couldn't even react. He had just got done making a pitch, so it was hard for him to react, and then him being it dotted him, and then the ball ricocheted off him and goes into the first base dugout, and like Jake's still trying to play it like it's a play, but like all of us are like, dude, like that is hysterical, because it was like a first and third defense and it like dotted him in the knee, and he was still trying to like finish the play, and I was like, dude, it was pretty cool, but it was also really funny, and we still talk about it all the time when we need a laugh in the clubhouse.
I'm sure he had a big bruiser bump, little second kneecap action.
Yeah, no, I never asked him what happened after, but I don't think he really wanted to go to the trainer because it was kind of a funny injury, but I'm sure he got it taken care of.
All right, so back to UCLA then. We've walked back there with Jake Somm. What are some of the things or messages that perhaps you've been taught that you've found are very helpful, or things you try to instill in the freshmen?
At UCLA or just in general?
At UCLA.
With the freshmen, I think for the older guys, it's been bringing them into the community rather than separating them into freshmen. So the quicker that we can make them feel like Bruins, we feel like we've done the best job we can. So the way they feel like Bruins is when they know the system and they're playing comfortable, because ultimately when you're a baseball player, you're going to be at your best when you're playing comfortable. So we try to get them as comfortable as quick as we can within the system, and that's ultimately our first goal when they get on campus, and then let them play, because like they're UCLA. They're brought into UCLA with a bunch of talent. So we know when they're comfortable and playing the right way, they're going to play great. So that's ultimately what we try to do.
So now a little more on your talents. We mentioned your batting average, hitting over 350 as a freshman. You also went the entire year without committing an error. So kudos to you on that.
Thank you. Yeah.
How much of an emphasis do you put on the defensive aspect to your game?
I think honestly, it's a huge part of my game. Ever since I was a senior in high school, people have been telling me that, have been telling me how important the catching position is. And, you're in the middle of the diamond, so-called captain of the infield, some people would say. But I think it's a huge emphasis because I think Coach Savage, one of his biggest sayings to me is if someone shows up to the park and sees a good pitcher and a good catcher, they're going to say that's a good team because those are the two guys that are most involved that's a good defensive team at least. And those are the two guys that are in the middle of the field and touching the ball every single play. So he's been really harping on me with that and with all the catchers and pitchers because if the pitcher looks good, I look good. If the catcher looks bad and the pitcher's good, you'll never know because the catcher's all over the place. So for sure at UCLA, you're not going to play unless you can play good defense. So it's been really fun to learn and kudos to the year before. I had Coach Gallego, who was a voluntary coach, who was helping me with catching. So I think he does a great job of helping all the catchers and understand the importance of our position.
Awesome. So as we hit the tail end of this, I like to play a little game with all the guys we speak to on Meet the Bird Gang. It's called The Cycle. We've got 4 levels of questions: single, double, triple, home run. They get a little more difficult as we go along.
Okay. Yeah, so, absolutely.
First single is, as a catcher, if you could catch a game of any major league pitcher currently in the MLB, who would it be?
Oh, my gosh. I guess Garrett Cole, former Bruin, so I'd say Garrett Cole. Yeah.
Are you what's your professional baseball team fandom?
I'm a Dodgers fan, but so I like Clayton Kershaw. If you asked me 2 years ago, I'd probably say Clayton Kershaw, but Garrett Cole, being a Bruin, I think that'd be pretty cool to catch him, and he's obviously the best in the game right now, so I think it'd be fun to catch the best.
All right. Now for the double, what are your 2 biggest pet peeves?
2 biggest pet peeves. Gosh, that's a good question. 2 biggest pet peeves. I don't know. I don't know if I'm a pet peeve guy. I don't think I have certain things that make me mad. Yeah, I don't think I have any pet peeves, thankfully. I'm trying to think like something as dumb as like sneezing or yeah, I don't.
All right. We can give you a different double question.
Yeah, ask me another double.
Your 2 favorite musical artists right now.
2 favorite musical artists. Can I say my 2 favorite songs?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. My 2 favorite songs would probably be Your Love by The Outfield. That would be one. That's my walk-up. And then second one would be something with Drake. I'll just say something with Drake. I like Drake.
Is that what a lot of Drake on the pregame playlist?
Not really a pregame playlist guy. Usually doing some other stuff on my phone, but yeah, like not really a pregame pump up because I feel like I'll get too pumped and like I don't know, I can't play this game like super pumped.
And throw a laser beam off your pitcher's knee, a little too
yeah,
amped up.
Yeah. I'm not trying to throw a laser beam off Jake's arm. Yeah, for sure.
All right, now for the triple. You're stranded on a desert island. This is a pretty common question. 3 things you could bring.
Stranded on a desert island. 3 things you can bring. I'd bring my catcher's glove. I'd bring some Airheads. and I guess water. Yeah, I guess water. Yeah, I bring Airheads, my catcher's glove, and water. Yeah.
All right, since you got out of the double, we're going to give you a second triple as well. You can use Airheads as one of the answers, but your 3 favorite candies.
Okay. Well, this is because my roommate got me on candy. I actually used to really dislike candy, but my roommate Mikey Perez, he has candy in the dugout all the time, so he has to have it. And so I'd say just from being able to have it so much, he has Sour Patch. I usually take a lot of those from him. And then he has Skittles, and then I would say Airheads are my third one. Yeah, for sure.
All right, now the home run question. This one might make you think a little bit. In all your years of you've played baseball for most of your life.
Yeah.
Thinking back to the early days, what is your first baseball memory?
My first baseball memory. From the younger days, okay. Let me think here. Honestly, like this isn't even trying to be a pick me up, but I remember because Hunter Green's from my area, so I remember Hunter Green was pitching, and he was pitching for the Dodgers, and I was on the Braves at the time, and I was like, I think I was 8 years old, and he was pitching, and I remember I was like, this kid throws the hardest in the whole league by far. And I was going to hit, and I was like, let's see how this goes. And I was super confident. But yeah, I remember I hit a triple off him, and I was like super jacked because I was like, dang, that's pretty cool. And now he's second overall pick by the Reds, so that was a pretty cool moment.
Yeah. So I'm sure he was one of, if not the toughest guys you faced as a kid. But at the college level, who's the toughest at bat you've ever had?
Toughest at bat I've ever had. Trying to think of the time I've felt the most uncomfortable. I think I'd be dumb not to say Tommy Henry from Michigan. He threw game 3 against us, and he set us down pretty good. But yeah, he was pretty good from the left side. Yeah, he's a good pitcher.
All right, and we'll wrap it up with this. Hopefully we get to see you back on the Cape next summer. You spent a year there, but for the rest of your would have been 2020 Firebirds teammates, what are these guys missing out on by not having a summer season?
I think they're missing out at a lot of really good experiences. I think you're playing with the best of the best in the Cape, and it's one of the best ways to become a part of such a great tradition of coming to the Cape, and you're going to be missing some of the best fans I've ever been around, most knowledgeable fans. If you talk to anybody in the stands, they're not there because they had nothing else to do that day. They're all on the Cape, and there's the nicest beaches and the nicest weather in the world. They're there because they genuinely love baseball. And that's something that I really liked about being on the Cape is everyone that was at that park the day knew what was going on, and it wasn't missing a beat. So that was awesome.
All right, thank you very much. That's all the time we have today on Meet the Bird Gang. For UCLA catcher Noah Cardenas, I'm Jacob Kronberg. Thanks for watching.